Hello, dear listeners. Today we have the pleasure of talking with Hnandi, the Hungarian driver with a quite remarkable career in the leagues. He made his CL debut early in Season 1 with a solid P4 before claiming his first championship just a season later, where, from there, he would have an amazing UL career. In it, he raced for just 2 teams, securing his first career podium in Season 8, his second season, a first win during Season 9, and his first top 3 Drivers' Championship finish in Season 10. His breakthrough came in Season 12 with a Constructors' title in LSA, followed by a steady climb runner-up in Season 13 and 14, and then his first Drivers' Championship in Season 15. He's now a 2-time world champion after dominant Season 19 with 109 races and 14 wins to his name. We talked about his early days in the league, his mentors, what kept him dedicated to LSA, and whether team orders really matter at the top level. And of course, with everything he's achieved, we had to ask, what's next? It was a fantastic conversation and I hope you enjoy. So, Hnandi, welcome to the second episode of the podcast.
Well, hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, a pleasure is mine for having you, and now, especially as a 2-time Ultimate League champion, how does it feel?
Well, it certainly feels amazing. I mean, the second one feels even better than the first one, because this time I actually had a proper fight with Figo.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
like in season 15, it was a bit weird because Nuno missed races and I
Yeah.
basically was handed the title because I attended all races. But season 19 was different.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I remember season 15. I think I was the commentator yet before. But yeah, Nuno missed some of the races, I think the second half or so. And I also think that there was Figo or JT through there who was, starting to have these beef with that will develop lately.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it was a bit of a long time ago, but as far as I remember, season 15, Joe had some issues in the races, especially. Like, he had that DNF in
Oh
Melbourne,
yeah.
and Figo kind of just became really fast in the second half of the season, so he wasn't really there for the start.
Oh yeah. Even Figo won in Ireland race. But I think you were third on that race. So yeah, now that I'm checking the standings, it was such a really thrilling season, isn't it? The first half you did was quite consistent, and the second one, well, with Nuna leaving, and then, well, no, he didn't leave a lot, but his pace decreased a bit. How, I mean, how did you feel during that season? Was it hard to maintain that pace?
Well, it was a bit inconsistent, but yeah, I put a lot of strain on myself mentally,
Mm.
and it was really tough. It was like maybe the second time I was kind of fighting for a title, but this time
Yeah.
I was leading from round one uh,
Hmm.
onwards, and that was completely different because before that in season 13 I was just challenging a bit. I was like 20 points behind the whole season. But in season
Hmm.
15, it was completely different, and that was new to me. Uh, I
Hmm.
I had some really silly mistakes in that season uh, because of the pressure, but in the end, it kind of just worked.
Yeah. And what did it change apart, obviously, from your pace, um, respect to the season 15 title and for these last season, season 19? What things do you think that changed a bit on the league? rather than in your
Uh,
pace?
well, pretty obviously the cars. Uh,
Hmm.
the Formula eSports 2 was
Hmm.
completely different. Uh, I think I was better with the Formula eSports 2 car.
Oh,
I'm not saying that the third car is bad. It's just in season 18, it took me a whole season to just get used to the new car, and I'm still having some troubles in some tracks, in some corners, in some of the trickier sections.
it is.
And
It is.
I mean, by the end of this season, it was pretty much good, but uh, yeah, I can still improve with this car.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's young, but still has an end. I mean, it's almost a year since the Formula Sports 3. Which are your thoughts about the car? Do you like it? Do you feel it like? For me, it's like a bit lighter than the Formula Sports 2.
Well, it's kind of hard because there have been like a few tracks that I could compare, the returning tracks mostly, and
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
example, Ricardo Tormo or Hungaroring,
Hmm.
that I drove with both cars in UL. Uh, and I had a lot of practice, of course, because I drove them in UL. And those two tracks specifically, I think didn't really play for the strength of the newer car. But there were some tracks that I just really can't imagine being better with the older car. I
Hmm.
think some of the longer tracks come to mind, like Nuno's 5000 or
Oh yeah.
Saema. I think, just from my intuition, that those cars might be more interesting to drive with the new car.
Hmm. Yeah, Formula Sports 3 is like better for longer races and in a type of specific track. But because, for example, on hairpins, I prefer the Formula Sports 2 as you could drift a bit. Now you gotta nail it and take care of the corner because if not, you go straight ahead as the brakes are a bit harder than the previous one.
Yeah, yeah. I think the main strength of this car is the medium speed corner. Sorry. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
I
I
mean, the
agree.
hairpins, it's like really hard to get nail them completely right, just like you said. And also the chicanes. I just personally don't like driving the chicanes with this car.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's yeah, I mean I feel the same way. It's quite hard to maintain the car properly. Well, obviously you have a bit more experience than me, and obviously you have a lot of pace. But now that we're talking about how does it feel on track, I really want to ask you because I'm sure that just not me, but any other driver on the low leagues thinks how do you and your your main rivals, JT, Figo, sometimes Phantomy, how do you all manage to keep on that sleep constantly, racing close, and it's always the same. It's one of you leading, taking the slipstream, and when it comes to the pit stops, everything messes up. How do you do those things?
Well, it's mostly learned from experience, but there are some things that I guess I can talk about. Like it's just not being greedy in the corners. It's just maintaining a stable gap with the
Hmm.
car ahead because with the net code, with the trailers, if you drive too close, you can accidentally punt the other car, and that just completely ruins the slip train. So you actually do need to keep some distance, and you need to
Absolutely.
manage that distance. In different types of corners, you should aim for a different amount of distance from the car ahead. Of course, you should have the biggest distance on the straights, and you can go pretty close to them in the hairpins or maybe chicanes. But yeah, it's really about being careful as well and precise. And one more thing is that there are certain lines on tracks, like grass cuts, that would be slower generally. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have the slip, they become viable. And during the week, you need to experience this. You need to test them out, and you need to know which corners you can drive differently. If there is a easier line that would otherwise lose time, but not in the slipstream, then you need to take that because, I mean, if you're driving in someone's slip for 30 laps in a row, you need to not make any mistakes. So
Oh,
having
absolutely not.
consistent lines is key.
So it's not just thinking like I'm going to stop on lap 20 or on lap 7 and that's it. And I'm going to make 3 or 4 stops. So each race is know the track better and better and better, every single pixel of it. And you gotta analyze every single scenario, both with and without slipstream, because I think that the lines change a bit, no? As you said, with the slipstream?
Yes, yes, that's exactly what I said. It's quite hard to predict how the lines change without actually testing it yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why these practice races we do basically. That's why we do them.
But do you practice, for example, do you practice this like alone on time trials, on the marks? Where's where's the secret formula?
There is no secret formula. I mean, you are either talented from the get-go and you are already up there from your very first race, or you are pretty
Mm.
slow at the start and you need a lot of practice to get up there. And I think I'm from the second class. I needed about 2 years for that title, 2 years of practicing for every race and
Yeah.
learning from the faster guys. It's some people just underestimate how much time it takes, but I do believe that literally everybody can get up here where we are in UL. It just might take a lot of time, and well, it's understandable. Most people don't have
Yeah.
that amount of time to commit to this game, but anybody can do it. If somebody wants it, they can do it.
Because you debuted on Ultimate League Season 7,
Yeah.
and now we are heading on Season 20. So that's
Yep.
quite a lot. How, I mean, apart from the new faces and people retiring, um, what do you think is the most impactful thing? What's the thing that changed the most?
Well, one thing when I started driving, there were no custom tracks. We only drove the base tracks. Season
Yeah.
7 was a bit weird because the first half was only base tracks, and we had a track vote for the second half of the season. And before that, every driver already had a lot of experience because they drove the base cars on the base tracks. So
Hmm.
new drivers didn't really stand a chance against them because whatever the calendar was, there were like 40 tracks in the game, and the experienced people already knew all of them. And nowadays, like track votes have 40 tracks in just one track vote, and half of them are completely new tracks that nobody ever drove before, and the cars are changing every few seasons. So I
True.
think it's way more beginner friendly in
True.
UL.
True. 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 Yes, because season 7. Now I'm a bit cold with it, but season 7 was the first or the second game because now I mean
It was the second game.
the second game. How long? Which year was it? 2022 or something?
It
Season 7?
was the winter season of 2022 from January. Uh,
Okay. Yeah. So
Basically
it.
3 years
Oof.
before now. It
Wow.
ended 3 years before now.
Many things happen. Many things happen from there. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Nuno Racing, Pamu. I mean, many old faces. Fox and Goose on its peak seasons. It was kind of good. How did you get into UL? Because you debuted on the first season of CL with P4, I think it was. Uh
It was P8. I wasn't that good.
P8? P8? Maybe I'm
Yeah.
yeah, could be. And then I think on the next season you won. You won it, isn't it?
Yes, I did win the next CL season. Uh, Basically, I bought the game for Christmas in 2021 Christmas time because I saw that there was an update to it which had a track editor, and I really liked designing tracks, and that is why
Mm-hmm.
I bought the game. I didn't buy it to race, but back in 2021 when the track editor was new, it was so bad. I, it crashed anytime I tried to save a track. It crashed anytime I put down too many objects. It was basically unusable for a few months. Then, of course, Apple fixed it, and nowadays it's really good.
Yeah.
Uh, but but then I just had this game, and I kind of saw in the Discord that there were some Friday leagues, some of these casual leagues, and I
Mm-hmm.
drove in some of them, and that it was a Friday league. When
It was
I drove with
Friday.
Goose and a few people, Goose, I think Gamer, Mart, and Dries, maybe even
Yeah.
Sobel. And then Goose just told me that, listen, we will have this new Challenger League next week, Friday, basically this time, and we are looking for drivers. And if you could, it would be really fun. It
Mm-hmm.
was basically the first race of CL. Uh, and he asked for me to join, and I was like, well, might as well now that I have the game and can't really use the track editor. And I just drove as a independent racer. I joined the team called Little Snowflake.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Little snowflake.
and after that, I had a lot of fun in there, and I just started practicing for the races. And after that, I really liked these races and just kept around. And
And the
yeah,
spark
basically.
was born there, isn't it?
Sorry, what?
The spark born there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it was
And
Goose that recommended it to me, and I will be grateful to him because it's amazing.
yeah, because Goose has made many things on the server. The Seal season,
Yeah,
the Seal Championship, then the founder of JL. He's done quite a lot of things. But Hnandi, how does it feel that your Seal Championship um only has one podium, not even a win?
well, I will just be straight with you. I wasn't even close to deserving that title. The animator basically carried it. He won 3 races and just
Exactly.
left to give me the title. Because we were already in this LSA garage. I was there as an academy driver, and then he already had a Sunday League win. Sunday League is the
Mm-hmm.
old name for Ultimate League. Uh,
For the Ultimate
and
League, see.
yeah, then he basically just left for that last race, and my other rival G4 had internet issues and couldn't race, and well, I still couldn't win the last race even after all this because I there were some crashes with a alias driver who just hopped in the lobby, and we don't know
Mm-hmm.
who it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not even close to my biggest achievements. I think nowadays a podium in UL for me
Mm-hmm.
is a bigger achievement than what I did in CL season 2 because
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of there.
So basically, you said that when you were racing on Seal, you enrolled with LSA, and from there was no turning back.
Uh, yeah, after my first race where I was just an ER, I started contacting a few team owners, and Lev's team still had a free reserve spot. and well, he had nobody else to sign, so I just kind of joined it. And there is actually a channel in the official Discord server that not a lot of people can see. Nowadays, it's called LSA RMC Vibes. It's a secret channel only for LSA and
Ooh.
RMC members. But back in the day, it was the big LSA Garage, which was a private channel, and I was suddenly put into the LSA Garage because I was in the LSA Academy. And
Hmm.
yeah, from there, uh, Sobel left LSA, and after season 7, the team really had no choice but to put me in, and that's basically how I became an LSA driver.
And from there, you didn't need to change the colors. Just stay with it, season after season, season after season. That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's the definition of loyalty. Actually, we have, as you may know, we have um, an open form with some questions that some drivers let us, and actually, your teammate Tommy asked me if I could ask you what makes you be so dedicated to the team.
oh, that's an interesting question. Well, it's hard to answer that. Uh, After the first my first season in LSA, I almost dragged the team down so low that we almost got the worst result of the team's history, which was not the animator's fault, it was my fault. And
Hmm.
Lev, I mean, he didn't have any other choices, let's be real, but he kept me around. And in season 9, I was really grateful for that. I got my first few race wins afterwards, and I don't know, it just feels like a hassle to leave LSA, and I'm still grateful for Lev for keeping me around. And after I got my title with LSA, it was clear that they would always have a spot for me, and I didn't really need to care about where I'm driving next season. So I'm just really
Yeah.
comfortable in the team right now, and really happy with the ownership and the way they managed to sign Fan to me,
Hmm.
because yeah, he's a lovely teammate, and I really enjoy working with fellow fast drivers. I really like it when me and my teammate are both in the lead pack and we can strategize and outplay the others with teamwork.
Yeah.
So LSA has a history with really good signs. We signed Nuno back in the day. He was my
Hmm.
teammate. We signed Kubo. We signed Phantomy now. Uh, so
Sobel was
I'm
there.
just happy. Yeah, of course, Sobel. He's been here since the very beginning. He's still
Hmm.
in the server. He's still cheering us on.
So it's more
Uh,
like a family for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what makes you dedicate to it. That's good. That's good. I like this type of drivers that decides to stay on a team, like because they feel that like it's their home and where they are comfortable, and they aren't changing every season, every season, every season. But for
Yeah.
example, with Kubo, because Kubo joined LSA after Nuno retirement on season 15, and then he joined on season 16 to LSA. So for example, how was that feeling with him?
Oh well. Uh, Kubo has been like my best buddy in this server. We have a really extensive DM history with each other, and we were just so hyped that we could drive together. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed driving with Kubo. He had amazing vibes every race. Uh, and yes, I'm just really grateful for Lev and Vlad for signing him, for making it happen. It's always good that you can drive with your friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was especially with Kubo, because for example, when we signed Phantomy, I didn't really know Phantomy that well yet. Then
Hmm.
after a season, I know him way better, and we are also on really good terms. Same thing with Nuno. I really looked up to Nuno. He kind of inspired me in a lot of ways. So that was a bit of a different story. Being teammates with somebody you looked up to is a weird feeling in many ways, but it's also amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. So, do you think that the feeling with the teammate is important both for the team performance and in general the individual performance for each driver?
Well, at least for me, it matters individually as well, but on a team level, it certainly matters. I've seen a few examples outside of LSA that I've had others tell me that I don't think I will leak, but I've heard about teammates not having the best of relations, and
Yeah.
it certainly could be seen on their results. There are a few examples to this.
Hmm. Yeah, well, better to keep it in private so we don't start a beef in the server. But yeah, I actually think the same. A good connection is everything with the teammate, and from there, both of you can learn, and then the results come, and wins and podiums and things come. Like when Kubo won on Riga after that rain and massive gambling with the tires. How how was that? How was that with when Kubo won the Riga? Because I mean, now what you've told me that you had a really good relationship. How was it?
Well, that week, it was, round four last summer. I was out. I was in Italy for a family vacation, and I had limited access to Wi-Fi, so I couldn't watch the race live,
Oh.
unfortunately. But I was like cheering on for Kubo, and I think a few hours before the race, wished him good luck. Before I think I went to the beach or something, and yeah, that's a big uh, downside. Not really a downside. It's just sad that I couldn't see his win. But after that, I rewatched it, and we talked about it a lot. And the first thing I saw when I got back to the resort was Kubo sending about like 20 messages to me, and and when I just saw that I had 20 notifications from Kubo, I thought to myself that either he had a terrible race that he started complaining about a lot, or he won, and I was just hoping that he won that race, and I was so happy that he won. He really deserved it. He had a lot of close calls, uh, and I think it's perfect for him. Uh, he got his main storyline done, so to speak. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it was great
Absolutely.
to see that.
Now that he retired, at least he has that moment, that chapter. He had it. Yeah, I was commenting that race. I remember really good, and I was always wondering what did happen between those two guys when when Kuba won. But now I know. Now I know. So yeah, there seems to be a strong feeling between you guys because how long have you been here now
Uh, you mean
in the
me
server
or
in the server on the leagues? How long?
well,
How,
I joined the server I think about in the last few days of 2021. Uh, yeah, I think like December 26th or 7th, I think, or maybe even 30th, but that doesn't really matter. So at this point, it's 3 years and 3 months that I've been on the server. and I think my debut was about 3 years and 2 months ago.
Hmm.
At this point, it's been a long time. I was 13 back then. Uh, I won my first race when I was 14, and now I'm 18 in 9 months.
Oh damn! Oh, you're a bit younger than me. I thought you were older.
Yeah, many people told me that they thought I was older.
Oh damn! I thought you were like on your 20s or so.
Nah, I'm just a regular high school student, just 17 years old right now.
Okay, okay. I'm just a year elder than you. Uh, but damn, I thought you were on your 20s, like university near the graduation or something.
I wish I was.
Well, actually, that reminds me that Nuno told me when I had the interview with him, um, about the young generations among the leagues. Like now we have a big wave of mobile drivers who are arriving and doing really well on the leagues. And for example, I'm thinking about F1 Fan, I'm thinking about Glow, and many others. I mean, and he
Yeah.
told me that that UL might end up peaking now as big guys, as GTU or who else? And I don't know who else told me, but they are near university and they focus on studies and stuff, and they quit racing, and it's time for these younger generations to come in and race. So which are your thoughts about this big wave of young
I'm,
talent?
I'm happy that UL will keep going after I'm gone. That's because I like watching the races also, and it would just be really sad if it ended. And with all these guys, I'm sure that the league won't end for at least 2 more years. And
Yeah.
many people have expressed concerns about the mobile drivers being there, and I was a bit skeptical at first about, how clean they were, and they are used to a different car in their league, different rules a bit, as far as I
Hmm.
know. But they actually drive really good, really clean. I met a few of them on track in UL. I remember driving against Crastonet in Saint Area. I
Yeah.
remember driving against F1 Fan a few times, and they are actually usually more clean than some of the PC guys currently
Ooh.
on their level, at least from what I've noticed.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I'm positively surprised with them, and I'm happy that these kinds of people will make up the league soon.
Hmm. Because do you have any future plans about hanging the gloves? You
Yes,
think?
yes, I do.
Yes.
Uh, After season 21, I will certainly take a step back and not race in season 22. And
Ooh.
depending on how life goes, there is a chance that I return, but it is quite likely that I will not race after season 21.
Mm. That's that. Things will change now because JT is also retiring for next or this season. It was next season. So now the Figo JT and you that will change, and now that will let other combo. Who you think will be when all of you three are gone, for a season or forever, for any period
Oh,
of time? Who do you think will be like that champion or that group that will be fighting for it?
uh, as for now, I'm fairly certain that at least in season 22, Phantomy will be the fastest if he sticks around because I think a lot of guys are improving a lot, but I'm not sure if they can reach his level by season 22. Maybe they can challenge him. It's a bit too far for me to tell, but
Hmm.
Phantom is a really solid contender already for the season 22 championship. Uh, Corvid, I think Corvid will keep driving, and after we leave, he will be uh, consistently on the podium, like at least 4 or 5 times per season. And
Hmm.
it's really hard to tell with the others because I know Corvid's been driving for over 10 seasons at this point, and
Yeah.
I can make predictions about him more easily. And I know Phantom he said he wants to stick around until then. But the other ones here in this league, careers just can end so suddenly. It's really hard to predict things. Like even
No,
I couldn't
absolutely.
predict Kubo's retirement, for example. That was one of the biggest
Absolutely.
shocks I've had recently.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But then COVID, I think that he might not practice all that he would like to, because COVID has talent, but he's just usually on the shadows, top 5, top 10, not battling for the podiums on the recent seasons. But maybe I'm also thinking about Johnny Fu, for example. After his title, he seemed quite good on CL and also in UL. He performed also quite good. Also, Guzman could be there, but I think I don't know if he will be racing on season 22 because he will also leave on September, and I don't know when will season 22 drop, but it will be something around there. But yeah, probably Phantom. Phantom is one now of the biggest sensations on UL.
Certainly.
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. He's been quite good on everything on CL when he debuted, and he climbed quite quick from AL to UL. I think he's the first or the second one on doing the 4 current leagues. Could it be?
Yes. I think Phantom is sometimes downplays his own skills. He takes less credit than he deserves sometimes because he really wants to do well, uh, and he really wants to compare himself to the fastest driver every time. And well, he's basically debuted in UL in season 17, I think, and that's still just barely 3 seasons. Uh,
Hmm.
Maybe he drove in season 16. I think he drove in season 16, but still, that's not 4 seasons, and he will still improve a lot. And I think his speed and the way how fast he improved to be on our level is a sign that he will still be faster, and after we leave, he will be most likely the best contender for the championship.
Do you think he's way too self-demanding?
Uh, I'm not sure if I would use the term self-demanding, but it's really hard to say because yeah, I will probably be biased in this topic. He's my teammate, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't think I can judge him too fairly because of that. Uh, he's just really fast, basically.
But resumed, he's really fast. Yeah. Actually, Tommy was one of the ones who asked me the most about it. He wanted to know really good, and for example, he told me that he made a question that was really interesting. Um, he asked if you think that a team order at the top of Ultimate League really makes a difference for a championship, or if racing alone is fine too.
I mean, we will see next season when it will basically be me and Phantomy versus Joe. Uh, it's from my experience. having a teammate up there can bridge a skill gap. Like if you're slower than somebody, but you have somebody else on your skill level who is your teammate, you two can work together and get yourself to beat that other person. I think the best example for this was Tatra, even though we didn't beat Joe,
Yeah.
but we had a lot of really good teamwork moments. For example, when either of us lost the slip, the other one could just still fight and hold up Joe. And that is really important. I think next
Yeah.
season, if we want to beat Joe, we will have to do teamwork, really good teamwork. Even if we can beat him on pace a few times, it's really hard for me to see ourselves beating Joe on pace every single week. It's basically impossible for me to imagine that. Joe won the last three races. What else do I have to say?
So would you consider yourself as a confident driver, or do you sometimes hesitate on, you know, am I going to win? Am I going to perform? Or maybe during the race, should I overtake? Should I not?
I used to, I used to be way more hesitant in things. Now that I'm experienced, these just come uh, like reflexes. These where do I overtake? As I said already, I spent the whole week developing my overtaking lines and uh, every looking at every opportunity to pass. So certainly not that. And I'm usually really realistic about my chances. I know which races I have a lot of good chances to win, which races I'm slower at. So I'm usually not often surprised that much nowadays compared to like season 15, season 13, and the ones before that.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. So, for example, which if you had to leave a tip for the low league drivers, which would it be?
Just generally, like any tip.
Any tip, yeah, about the track, about racing.
Hmm. Well, that's tough. I mean, I think it's that every kind of practice is good. You can do TT, you can do races, you can do online races, but they are good for different things. For example, if you drive online, you can practice racing against other people, and you can't do it in TT. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to strike a balance between all of that. You won't win a race if you only do TT for a race week,
Mm-hmm.
and and all of these skills can be improved over the weekend. You can do thousands of laps of TT, but if you don't do enough laps of with tire wear, you might get pole, but after that, what? The tire wear will kill you. Uh, yeah, a lot of people know I do a lot of laps, over 1,000 most weeks, but that's not
Wow.
just TTing. I do practice races, I do online races, race against my own ghosts, and that that is useful in many ways. It makes it less boring that you do different types of activities. It makes it better as practice, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, of course. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think I've benefited a lot from uh, doing all sorts of practice, and because back in the day I mainly just did TT like season 8, 9, 10, I'd say, and it didn't work that much.
Mm-hmm. Wise words. But this change of mindset, was it by your own, or did you had a mentor, or?
I've had a lot of people who I would consider mentors over the seasons. I've gotten good tips from Anti, the Anti Amazing.
Oh yeah.
He basically taught half the server back in the day how to slipstream, uh, and his influence is still clearly visible. He was the one who invented mocks and these kinds of long evening races. And then there was Sobel and Lev. Uh, they also gave me a lot of really uh, good good insights. Yeah, so I think I had a good mentorship, and it's important, I think, for newer drivers to, if they have to decide between teams, they should consider how experienced the team owner is and how much knowledge they can get from their team owners and their teammates. I think,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in
Mm-hmm.
JL, if every driver gets like 3 or 4 contract
Mm-hmm.
offers, and yeah,
Okay.
that's what I would decide based
Okay.
on.
That was a really, really good point. That was a really good point. I've never thought about it. But yeah, for example, um, so you would say that no hate, just like info. You would say, for example, if a driver wants to progress and learn, for example, if right now he goes to links with the current situation they're living, um, it would be harder for him to improve and get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no lies in that. Links after Yuris started being less interested in the game and all
Mm-hmm.
that. After
Mm-hmm.
Kubo retired, Lynx basically has less value. And I'm really just trying to say it in the least offensive way possible, but
No, yeah, yeah, I
that
understand.
team is barely alive at this point.
Yeah,
Uh, so
understandable.
the people who signed to Lynx to have a seat to drive in, but they aren't going to get the most valuable insights there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I
also,
agree with that.
it's really difficult to sign into a team like LSA, which gives really good insight because uh, we are looking for faster drivers. We have higher standards, so Lynx is a perfect choice for somebody who is just starting out in UL, but they
Mm-hmm.
will be thinking about moving on. They should be thinking about moving on from there pretty quick, I
Yeah,
think.
because yeah, it must be that exchange of information with your teammate, for strategies, for tire wear, for where are you slow, where are you fast, do this, do that, and for example, high teams and especially active teams can bring you that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's the key for improve. It's yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting what you said. But yeah, I agree. Maybe links. It's now links or Mayhem, who's now the most inactive teams. Um, might might be the door for rookies for learning about the league, for getting a bit better, and then little by little, start to sign with higher teams. No, RMC, maybe Flow Force. No, maybe Fox and Goose, maybe because Fox and Goose has a quite unique situation, isn't it?
Yeah. FGR has had quite a lot of different lineups over the seasons,
Oh yeah.
and they had a lot of difficulties. But Nuno is a smart team owner. I think he knows what he's doing, and he just trusts the people who drive for him. Uh, I think that team has a lot of potential.
Hmm.
yeah, Nuno is a good talent scout, I think.
Well, experience is everything. Nuno has been
Yeah,
on the server for before the server. No, no. No, yeah,
basically.
Nuno is Nuno must be such a good mentor above all, and and team principal, well, team owner, but yeah, maybe Nuno can learn can teach wise things. Did you receive any type of tip from his part?
Uh, when we were teammates, yes, I learned from him uh, a few things. I wouldn't say that much because by then I was already actually one of the most experienced drivers on the grid.
Yeah,
But never still new things that he could show me, and just by driving with him in the evening races, just by being his teammate, I learned new things that he didn't like tell me necessarily. I just uh, picked up by myself. Uh, I I think I perfected my slipstreaming skills with him because he was just faster than me, and usually I was slipstreaming him.
yeah.
So yeah,
Now that you mentioned the slipstream again, um, any thoughts on the slipstream reduction for this season?
uh, well, I think the slipstream reduction will actually just screw over the less experienced drivers because uh, it will be a bit more difficult for the fast guys, for the uh, higher uh, up people like me, Joe, Phantomy, and a few others, but we will get used to it way quicker than the others. And I'm not really sure if this is the solution to the problem that many have about slipstreaming being too easy.
Hmm.
Uh, and well, if you were to ask me what the solution is, I don't know. But I mean, we will see. I still hope that when Joe is faster than me, which I think will be most of the time, I will still be able to slip him. That's usually my hope to win when he's faster than me. Uh, and yeah, I will have to get used to that. But these newer people who only have a few seasons, they just got used to the
Yeah,
current, the older
absolutely.
slip, and now they get something completely different. That just
Yeah.
they get
Have you
completely
have
screwed
you
up.
have you already tested? Because I haven't.
Just like a few races with the tracks, with the new tracks. It's
Okay.
I in the first three races I didn't feel any difference, no difference at all. I even asked if they actually changed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to make the faster guys think that slip is weaker. It's going to make the slower guys think that slip is weaker.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Good one. Good one. Because this might break those groups that we also always seen in in the UL races. Because there's your group, your top three, even top two, then a small group of five, four drivers fighting for the top five, top seven, top eight, and then the rest spread out.
Yeah,
So this
we
might
will
break a
see.
bit.
This
Yeah,
could be
we
interesting.
will see. We will see. And for now, finishing a bit, um, by when this episode releases, um, we will be on round three, if I'm not wrong. So that we still don't know which track will be round three, but we will have race on Austria and on Liga. So how does Hnandi see himself on round three?
Uh, well, that's interesting. I failed to win Liga last time. in season 16, so I certainly want to win that. I will
Absolutely.
do everything possible to win that. And Austria in season 13 was a really big missed opportunity. I got overtaken in the final corner. I got P2 because of that.
Oh.
So both of those are tracks where I'm here to have revenge. And yeah, uh, so ideally I would win both of them, but that's usually not how it works.
Well, you're gonna try hard as you can.
Of course.
Well, Nandi, I think I'm afraid that we ran out of time, but I
Um,
really enjoyed this conversation.
and did we run out of interesting questions the others
I
had?
I ran out of
Or
questions, but I mean, I for example can if you make it a bit quick, for example, there was a question. Let me actually search it. Oh yeah, here it is. Someone's asking which are your new goals. Now that you have two drivers' titles, are you going
my
for
goals
a
don't.
third
Uh,
one? Are you going a fourth one?
oh yeah, my goals never change. I'm here to race and here to win as many times as possible. I've always been here to win, and I will retire when I feel like I can't practice enough for myself to contend
Mm-hmm.
for wins. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically the gist of it.
Mm-hmm. And there's another question now that says to tell us a bit the backstory of the league. Like, how was it driving in many years ago?
Absolutely, completely horrendous. Uh, Most people still underappreciate the netcode we have today. Those
Oh.
guys certainly did not drive in season 7. Uh, it was way worse. We had a lot of different problems. We had the Formula A cars, which were unfit for league racing in, I think, every possible way. And yeah, I don't miss the Formula A era.
Mm-hmm.
Formula eSports 1, I think it was a bit too small. It just overcorrected most of the issues.
Yeah.
But it was better. We had a few good races with it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think Formula eSports 2 was when the league really became a league.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting. Interesting. And now finally, I think you saw that question, but Marimar asks who was your biggest enemy both in the early days of your career and you know, actually all-time rival.
I think the first one, the one that most of you don't even know, uh, was Julo, Polish
Julo.
driver
Yeah.
back in CL. He won the first CL championship. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I won the second one, and then we both got into Sunday League, and we were these midfielders who graduated from CL, and we almost in every race we ended up near each other, and we had a lot of fun fights. And he was my biggest rival. I think he beat me by like 7 points in
Oh.
season 8, and then I beat him in season 9, and then he sadly retired
Yeah.
because of I think he didn't have time. His laptop was slow, but then, there was this virtual league that Skip
Oh yeah.
hosted, and we got into the same team, and we spent a lot of time there. We really enjoyed being teammates in the virtual leagues, so that was fun. In the end, we became really good friends with Julo, and yeah, that was an amazing rivalry.
Yeah, I love this type of rivalries. This extended and long rivalries. I had one with Catter, and now he's returning,
Oh
but
yeah.
he beat me. He beat me super hard, and now there in UL, and I'm still here stuck in CL. But soon I'll be on UL. Whatever happens this
I,
season, we might see you on track next season.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But now, yes, and Andy, time has come. Um,
Yeah.
it's been an amazing and lovely chat.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I'm happy to have been here.
The pleasure is mine for having you. So there's nothing else to say that wish you the best of luck for this season and for the few seasons remaining you have left.
Yep, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
And yeah, I just hope for the best for everybody, for the league. Yeah, I hope the season will be just as fun as the last one.
Hopefully. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Andy. Wasn't Hnandi super chatty? I really enjoyed our conversation, and I definitely learned new things about him. I'm amazed of his dedication to the game and the importance he gives to the league, and above all, the teams. I love his partnership and how he considered how drivers can develop themselves in the big league. It was such a lovely conversation from my pod, and I think Hnandi really enjoyed it too. For my pod, this was it for this episode. Thanks for everyone until here. Subscribe, like, and comment if you're watching us from YouTube, and follow, give a 5-star rating, and leave a comment if you're from Spotify. Remember that you will have linked below the official Discord channel, where you will find an open form to leave your suggestions. I can wait to read them. Also, you can talk to other listeners and to myself. I'm always active, so don't be shy and ask. Before finishing, I'm glad to announce the Challenger League Season 16 champion Johnny Fu will come to the podcast on our next episode on May the 19th. Note down, May the 19th. Challenger League Season 16 champion Johnny Fu will come to the podcast. I hope to see you there. But until now, stay tuned, fellas. See you soon.